this wasn't the original schoolroom, was it? This was, the schoolroom was...
The war room.
War room was the original schoolroom.
Surprised they didn't leave it there.
Yeah, I wonder why they moved it up here for.
Well, they said some got stolen, but do they mean out of the war room?
I think they said war room. I don't think it was, I think it was something from the war.
From the war.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's going up.
I've just knocked.
Yeah, I think that's there's an issue with that one. Anyway, yeah, we're in the schoolroom in the house. We do know that this isn't the original schoolroom that was here, because we're upstairs in the house. So we're going to see if we do get any paranormal activity. Maybe, you never know, maybe from children or whatever. Possibly there was children in the house here. So let's see if we do get anything. Anyway, my name's Martin.
My name's Diane. Good evening. Pleasure to meet anybody here who wishes to speak and communicate with us.
Could you give us a sign that you're here and you would like to come and communicate with us? We put some flashy balls down on the school desk here.
Let's see what these are.
Could you come forward and come and speak to us? I mean, you know harm, we come as friends. There's also a teddy bear on one of the chairs. You could go up and touch that teddy bear. That'd be really good if you could do that. Come on, please, come forward. Did you used to write on slate boards like this when you was at school? Did you could you I don't know, Dan, what can you say to them?
Is there any children here? What did you think to the teacher? Are you attached to this, these desks? Quite big, these desks, aren't they? Higher wise. Yeah. What did you think to the teacher? Did you think the teacher was nice? Fair? Or was the teacher horrible? Did the teacher treat you fairly? It's your turn to talk now. You could use these flashy balls, they don't hurt you. I'll show you how they work, you just touch them slightly like that. That's all that does. You're quite welcome to touch them. It's playtime now anyway. It's time to do as you want. Teacher won't bother you while we're here. We brought the equipment, we brought these toys, and you'll come play with them. Got a teddy bear there if you want to go and see the teddy bear. That looks more like come out of a church pulpit.
Oh yeah.
Oh, didn't that house say pulpit?
No. Oh, I think it did.
It said pulpit.
Did it?
That, I would have, that's more of a pulpit than a teacher's desk. And there's a church bench downstairs.
Is it what?
Church bench. So as you come through the doorway, there's a really nice church bench. So that, maybe they come from a church.
Is that a pulpit?
That looks like the pulpit, what you'd stand on.
Yeah. Well, some teachers probably would have had them.
Well, you'd have one in a hall where your headmaster might stand.
Yeah.
At a like a
pulpit.
What do you call it? Like a boarding school. But I don't think you'd have one for just an ordinary school. But that to me looks like
Yeah, probably might.
where the vicar would stand. But it is church farm.
Yeah.
So it's in keeping, but it did say that on the house.
So what kind of church would it? I wonder what kind of church this was. What were it? Was it Catholic, Protestant? Church of England.
Church farm, and it had its own school. So it sounds like a village community kind of thing, doesn't it?
Mm.
You know, to have a church. Well, where's the church part? Or is the church just as in the church in this area?
Oh, it's the church.
Yeah, where
that
is
was
the
in
church?
the area.
Well, it's in Church Farm. So that's an interesting thing. So where's the church? Because there was a pulpit, church bench, and that app did say pulpit, and we hadn't even seen that yet. Well, yeah, we had seen it, but we didn't see it. We looked round, but we didn't take notice of it. So that's good then. That's interesting.
Did you come to school here?
Let's have a read. Let's see what it says.
Maybe.
You have a little read.
Did the children live here as well? Probably.
Let's have
Was it a boarding school sort of thing?
That's what I'm wondering. If it's some sort of a.
See, is that these pictures on here?
Okay. So.
Now, are these original photos from this school?
Okay. Sewing class at St Andrew's School, Lincoln. Right, Central Library, Lincoln. So that's not for here. She's showing you the classroom. Children in Victorian school sat at their lessons at desks arranged in rows. Their schoolwork was far from fun. Pupils learnt the 3 R's every day, which were reading, writing and arithmetic. They would spend a lot of time either copying words written on a blackboard or writing down passages read out by the teacher to practice their letters. Got one issue with the 3 R's. Right, reading, writing begins with a W and arithmetic begins with A. So it's not actually 3 R's.
So, well.
The slates.
They worked here as well.
The slates were similar to those used to make roofs for houses. Anything written on them with white chalk or with a slate pencil would be wiped off. So it was over and over again. Once a pupil had mastered writing on the slate, he or she graduated from slate and chalk to books, pens and ink. Victorian children learnt to write by copying sentences, which the size and shape of the letters had to be exactly as those printed in the copybook or the blackboard, and their teachers expected high standards. Discipline was very strict, and those led to misbehave were often beaten with cane or leather strap by the teacher or the teacher's assistant. At the beginning of the Victorian period, only wealthy children would be certain of getting an education. One of the biggest challenges to living in the children in the 19th century was the introduction of the government-run schools which all children had to attend. So in 1837, all education would be paid for. Wealthy sons were sent away to school. Wealthy daughters were mostly taught at home. There were plenty of private schools for either boys or girls. No schools took both, to which the upper middle class would send their children. Most poor children were not educated. They had to work instead. But there were a few employees who provided education as well as work for the poor, such as the Gregg family, who owned Stale Mill, that's S-T-Y-A-L, Stale Mill, a textile mill in Cheshire.
Yeah.
Other education for the workers' children had to be paid for. Young children went to dames school, often run by local women in their own homes. When they grew older, they moved to the village school, which was provided by the parish council. In 1870, the government established state schools, but it was not until 1891 that a law was passed to provide compulsory free education for all children working in the fields. So older boys did the heavy work on the farm, like ploughing, harvesting. Young boys and girls did not most of the weeding, picking potatoes and helping. Children followed behind the men as they cut the grass in the fields, spreading it out to make it dry quicker. When the grass was dry, it had to be raked to make hay cocks, bales. Later in the year, at harvest time, the children followed the reapers, making straw bands for the men to tie sheaves of corn, leading horses or carrying refreshments to the men in the field. Older boys would stand alongside the men, armed with sticks, ready to knock down, kill any rabbits or other vermin, which may have been hiding in the corn. A rabbit caught this way meant meat for the cooking pot. Gleaning at harvest time was done by women and children. After the field had been cleared of the sheaves of corn, they would then go and gather every piece of straw which held an ear of corn. Gleaning went on for 2 or even 3 weeks. At the end of it, most families had a good supply. That's really good. After the corn, that's like when they used to do the ploughing up potatoes up, and they just leave a batch and you could get what you want in it. After the corn had been threshed at home by the father of the family using the flail, the grain was taken to the miller to be ground into flour for families' bread making during the coming winter. There are many more ways children were employed to earn a few shilling. According to the season, they worked by potato setting, pulling, twitch, coarse grass, singling or thinning out, turnips, picking potatoes, topping and tailing turnips, gathering mangolds. What's a mangold? And picking up acorn to feed the pigs. I wonder if that's supposed to be some sort of a flower, marigold maybe?
Yeah.
And a child might even be used to guard mushrooms. Mushroom gardener, one of the farmer, and mushroom thieves. Cool. A day in the life of a farm boy from the Victorian country child by Pamela Horn. So they had mushroom thieves.
Mushroom thieves?
And they had children to go and protect the mushrooms.
Oh my goodness.
That's what it says here. Stone picking. Farm workers' children started work as soon as they were old enough to pick up stones from the fields in order to clear the earth for the crops to grow. Often the stones were used to boon roads, which is to fill cart tracks and make roads. Oh, well, everything helps, doesn't it? All right, so the stones were taken off the fields when the corn was about 2 inches high, then raked the land overnight to loosen the stones so the women and children could pick them up the next day. They used a small rake with 6-inch nails set closely together to help them. Each picker took an ordinary 2-gallon pail, which would hold a peck of stones. A peck of stones, that's old-fashioned. Peter Piper picked a peck of something.
Peter Piper picked a pepper.
Pepper.
Yeah, pepper, that's pepper.
Pick. The families were paid by the load, and around 80 pails of stone would make up a load. Elsewhere, children out with the family and come back catching sparrows and rats. Oh God. They would be paid 1 penny for each rat tail and 1 penny for 4 sparrows.
One penny for 4 sparrows?
Yeah, you get 1 penny for each rat tail and 1 penny for 4 sparrows.
That would stop the sparrows from eating the
Corn and everything.
corn and seeds and
rats. Tempting animals. Sheep, cows and sometimes pigs would be taken to unfenced land to graze often, which with just one small child to make sure they did not stray. During spring and autumn, this would be a common task for children, minding or tending the animals in the fields. Tending, that's interesting. And on the roadsides, it was considered cheaper to pay a child 4D or 6D a day to do this than make and build secure fences. Wow. In the autumn, the pigs would be taken to feed on ears of corn left after the harvest fields and be cleared, and to oak trees to feed on the acorns which children would shake from the branches with long poles. So they got little boy blue, come blow your horn. The sheep's in the meadow, the cow's in the corn.
Yep.
Where is the little boy who looks after the sheep? Is under a haystack, fast asleep.
So, is this some of the stuff that you had to do at this school?
Yeah.
Did you touch the balls that are on the desks?
Do you want to know about bird scaring?
No, the scarecrows.
This was the lonely task. The children had to go out to the field alone as soon as it was light and stay there until the crows, pigeons and other birds had gone to roost. It was also a 7-day-a-week task because the birds came to feed in the fields every day. The children were paid 5D a day for 6 days, or 3 shillings and 6 Ds, D penny a week, but nothing for Sundays. What's D? Bird scaring was a popular job because bird scarers were needed by the farmers for most of the year. The busiest times were when the corn was sown and when it was ripening, but the birds would also have to be kept from the straw stacks because they would pull the straws out and then litter them over the fields so to be picked up again. Usually the children went to work with a wooden rattle or an old pail with a stick, and they were beating out the birds. So, but some preferred to shout at least part of the time in order to hear your voice. Farm worker said, remembering his boyhood days in the 1800s, I started work scaring birds when I was 6 or 7 years old. I worked all the time, it was like up to 12 hours in the summer. If I fell asleep, the farmer would whip me as a punishment. Wow! So you cop it if you fell asleep. And that's all that off that notice board. So
this must have been, it must have been like a workhouse then.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
All this, you know.
So, because we don't know much about the place, we don't know nothing because we've not looked into anything. Church farm, so it must have been run by the church. So, for them to get an education, they, what they call it, had to work as well.
Yeah, because I mean, I tried looking online to see. There's nothing real. Just tells you lived here and things like that, but not much.
So is this true? Did you touch the balls that are on the table? Did you have to work for your keep here?
Did you hear me reading these off the boards?
Is that what you had to do to get by? Did you have to work to pay for your education? Maybe you didn't want your education and you was just brought here because you was poor. So I didn't know if it were I didn't think it was a workhouse. I thought it was just a normal type farm, but it's got a school here.
Yeah.
So
and he's got church, school.
So it must have been workhouse run by the church.
Maybe, we don't know, we'll have to look into it.
Or run through the church. So is that true? Did you what do you call it? Did you have to come here? Was you forced here?
There's a tiny amount of information. I've got the information, but it's a tiny amount.
Yeah.
And it didn't say anything really about what goes off life here. It did say there was a school here, but there was nothing else. So, yeah, is anybody here with us? Any children here? Maybe lived, worked here? Any people lived and worked here? Did you touch, have you got any pen pads or like that out?
No.
Okay. Well, we've got some balls anyway out at the minute because we thought you might like to play with them, and the teddy bear as well. Martin's brought his teddy.
It's not my teddy.
It is, it's Martin's teddy, it's his favourite toy. He he plays with it every week.
There's a REM pod missing.
No, I didn't.
You ready if it's free? Yep, you can touch this toy here. This is a toy, a device that we use to communicate with people. So you can touch these devices. They're called REM pods. These REM pods, if you go up and touch them,
That's a noisy one, right?
it will.
Is that a noisy one?
You can make it light up.
Is this one a noisy one?
No.
So we've got some that makes a noise and some that
This one
don't.
doesn't. This one just lights up. So if you go up and touch these devices will let us know that you're here. If you touch them devices, I will leave you 10 shilling.
Oh yeah, very nice.
Yeah. So if you can touch these devices,
Martin's coughing up.
I'm gonna give you 10 shilling. So it shows how good you are to receive 10 shilling. What's 10 shilling in today's money?
Where's your flashing?
No, I'm not flashing. The ball's flashing, Diane.
5p in it, a shilling.
Yeah. So it's 10.
But I don't really know.
50p. Is it?
Me granddad used to have a box full.
So, do you want some money?
Yeah, they were little tiny silver coins.
So off.
Is that right?
I don't know. I can't. I
Last
don't.
week past that. I used to know this stuff.
So, if what do you call it? We'll say 10 shilling is 50 pence. That's half a pound. Half of a pound, which would have been, what would it have been in them days? I don't know. Where do we know what do you call it? Guinea. It's confusing with the old money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is. Because there's some stuff we literally do not have. Because you used to have shillings and pence.
Yeah. Farthings and whatever.
Farthings.
Half a crown. Sixpence.
Yeah, they used to cut the sixpence in half.
Yeah. So, if you touch those devices, I'm going to leave you some money.
In fact, I think there were sixpences.
I'll show you the money.
My granddad, you know when phones, first got a phone, they used to have a little phone box and they used to put this little bit of scrap money in.